The stuff towards the back of the freezer is doing okay. The stuff towards the front at the door is starting to defrost. Good morning, beautiful people. It is day 7 of no power, but we have seen line crews today. They actually fixed the line that was down in our driveway, and now they've gone down line or up line, one or the other, to fix lines up there before we actually get our power back on. So fingers crossed it will be today. Until then, we are having to deal with some stuff in the freezer. We have generators to cycle the freezers, but the upright does not hold cold very well. This is why I hate uprights. A lot of people are always like, oh, don't struggle with a chest freezer, you have to shuffle things around, buy an upright. No, chest freezers hold their cold, and that's why I've bought chest freezers for most of our food. But I do have one upright that holds our random stuff like fruit. So the stuff towards the back of the freezer is doing okay. The stuff towards the front at the door is starting to defrost, and we haven't cycled that one as often as the meat freezers because the meat is the biggest concern. So I have fruit today that I need to deal with. They are slushy. They're still like half frozen, but you can see the juice is starting to defrost, so they're not going to refreeze very well if we were to cycle the freezer. So I'm just pulling everything out. I'm going to make jam today and some preserves and syrups and things like that. I've got some blueberries here as well. It's not a big deal. This was my plan with this fruit all along anyways. So it's fine, I'm just having to do it sooner rather than later, and it's all good. So I'm gonna get to working on the strawberries first, and then I'll move to the blueberries. The blueberries for sure will be coming preserves. Like I don't want jam out of them necessarily. I want like a syrupy preserve thing because we like to eat them on blueberries and pancakes, and then the jam or the strawberries will be jam. So we're gonna get started and get these canned up, and we'll just keep working through the freezer and see what we need to do. Oh! Okay, cool.
What you making?
Strawberry jam.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, while I was measuring my fruit, the power came back on. Woo! Thank you, linemen. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Also, very quickly, I want to say a huge thank you to the linemen's families, wives specifically, because I have been an energy sector wife when my husband was a machinist, and it was ag and oil and water, and it sucks when your husband is working all the hours and he's gone all the time, and I know what you're going through, and I'm with you through all of that, and I appreciate your sacrifice while your men are gone doing what they need to do for the rest of us. You all rock, all of you. So anyways, since the power is back on, I'm going to use my stick blender to zhuzh this real quick and get these strawberries broken up, and then we will continue with our jam making. And we'll see how long the power stays on, because I know they're going to have to turn it on and off as they work down line. Okay, just like the last time I made jam, which you might or might not have seen, I am using Pomona's pectin, which is it sets with calcium. So I've made up my calcium water. You do a certain amount of pectin you do a certain amount of calcium to a certain amount of water, and mix that together, and then this goes into the fruit first while it's heating, and then we mix the pectin portion and the sugar. She's over there growling. The pectin and the sugar together, and then we add those once everything's hot. So I need, for this amount of strawberries, I need 16 teaspoons of calcium water. So 16. And get this to boiling. It'll take a little bit because this, like I said, was kind of slushy still, so it's still pretty cold. So we will just stir this until it starts boiling, and I'll get the sugar and pectin measured out while we're waiting. Okay, for the sugar, it calls for 3/4 cups sugar or up to 2 cups of sugar. We have found that for 4 cups of sugar, we like, I think somebody's excited, 1.5 cups of sugar, depending on the year, you know, because strawberries have more or less sugar naturally each year, but we're just going to stick with the 1.5 cups. So altogether, I'm going to need 6 cups, so I'm going to measure that out, and then you mix the pectin into the sugar. 16 teaspoons of pectin. I buy the Pomona's pectin in bulk from Azure Standard. It comes in a 1-pound bag. You can also get the little, little boxes that have like, I don't know, it's a couple servings worth or a couple batches worth. But I buy it in bulk because we make a lot of jam around here. Alright, got my sugar and my pectin mixed in. We're going to get this, and then, you know, boiled it for a little bit. Now we're going to get this jarred up. Alrighty, broke out my trusty steam canner that a viewer sent me 2 years ago. I say this every time because I'm very appreciative of this viewer sending it to me. I love this thing, it's so great. Steam canner, don't have to fill it with loads and loads of water. You just fill up a certain amount and then it steams and you gotta, you know, read off the dial. But got that going, and that's 8 jars in there. So I still have 4 jars left here, and I've got a little bit of jelly in here, so I'm gonna go find some more jars, get those filled, and then when this is done, we'll cycle the next batch, and then we will be good for the strawberries. Alright, got the first batch of strawberry jam out and cooling. The second batch just finished. It was like 4 jars. We're having, okay, so real quick story. A week ago, I was digging through the freezer. We're really, really low on chicken because our next batch is coming ready in a couple weeks. And so I've just been like going through the freezers and cleaning things out and, you know, using up the last of the things that are at the bottom that I need to use. And I found a duck. We haven't processed ducks in like 3 years, so it's been in there, maybe 2 years. It's been a minute. Found it at the bottom. I thought they were chicken, or thought it was a chicken, and I was like, that's a really long looking chicken. Pulled it up, it was a duck. So pulled it to the top with the intention to use it fairly soon. Power goes out. We've been cycling the freezers. The freezers have been staying cold and for the most part frozen, but because this duck was on top, it was starting to defrost. It was still very cold, but I pulled it, it was actually like half frozen, but I pulled it out this morning. I was like, hey, we need to use that duck, and this is a good opportunity to get it out of the freezer. So pulled it out, defrosted it the rest of the way. So tonight we're having duck au vin, which is not a real dish, I don't think. Usually you do it with chicken, but usually chicken and wine. Tonight it's duck and wine. So, ooh, that's boiling way more than I want it to. So I fried it up, and now I've got my veggies and aromatics in there, and we're going to slowly simmer that for the next 2 hours or so until it's done. Now I'm gonna work on getting my blueberries into like a preserved form in quarts. I think I'll do quarts because that's about usually what we use for pancakes and waffles and whatnot. Alright, it is the next morning. Blueberries are out of the canner. I did lose one, which is a bummer. It busted and kind of made a mess, but that's alright. Update on the power. Like you guys saw, the power did come back on, and it went off again about 30 minutes later. And we were like, no worries. We figured that's the power company turning it off so they can do the next leg. And it didn't come back on, it didn't come back on, it didn't come back on. And we realized that half of our house actually had power. And we thought, well, that's weird and not quite right. Ben and the boys went out to check the box. And turns out, actually, when the power was surging from Friday, when it was going out, which we assume this is when it happened, the main breaker in the box fried. Or it mostly fried, and when it came back on yesterday, it fried the rest of the way. So we had an electrician friend come out last night, and they were trying to get it fixed. Of course, we don't have a main breaker just lying around, so they had to go to Lowe's to get one, and then the only one they were able to get wasn't the right one, so they're having to rewire like basically a whole new box. Ran out of light last night to do it in time, so he's coming back today, hopefully to get that fixed. Kind of a bummer, not a big deal. It's just now the frustration of having to fix it like so close, but now fixing it. So we'll probably be running generators today again. But unless there are any further problems, we should have power again back later this afternoon, hopefully. And then I guess everything will be back to normal. So that's where we're at for now today. But I'm going to end this video right here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for those who are donating and volunteering to the efforts up in the mountains. I'm going to pop the resources that I had for donations down in the description box again, for those of you who are wanting to donate to legitimate places that actually have boots on the ground and are up there helping. I know there's a couple places that are also taking volunteers to, unpack planes and trucks and get them distributed to the people who need it. So anyways, that's gonna do it for us today. We'll catch you guys on the next one.